Before Greece, before Rome, there was Mesopotamia, the land between rivers, the cradle of civilization, and from its temples rose gods older than time, feared and worshipped in equal measure. 5. Enki, the trickster god of wisdom. 4. Nergal, lord of the underworld. 3. Inanna, goddess of war and desire. 2. Ereshkigal, queen of the dead. 1. Anu, father of the gods. These gods shaped floods, fate, and the very stars. But over millennia, their names faded, buried beneath clay tablets and dust. Yet their stories still echo if you know where to listen. Subscribe for more echoes of the past. Number 5. Enki. He is one of the oldest deities in Mesopotamian mythology, appearing in texts from the earliest days of Sumerian civilization as early as 2600 BC. During those times, he was known by several names, including Enki, Lord of the Earth, En, Lord of Justice, and Nibi, Lord of the Command. His domain spanned wisdom, magic, water, and creation. Enki's most famous act was his creation of humankind after the gods had been defeated by a great flood. In some versions of the story, Enki alone was spared from the deluge, and he emerges from the depths with a mission to repopulate the earth. He took a clay tablet and fashioned it into a human, and then he breathed life into his creation. It was a beautiful couple, Adam and Eve, except they were called Enkidu and Ninhursag. When Enkidu and Ninhursag awoke, they looked around at the lush garden that surrounded them and knew nothing of the great flood that had just occurred or of the terrible gods who had caused it. Enki and Enkidu lived together in this garden, free from pain and sorrow. But soon the pain began, and death entered the world. Realizing that his creations were destined for suffering and death, Enki made a bitter choice. He allowed humanity to live out their natural lives, but he also gave them knowledge of plants and minerals that could ease their pains and alleviate their troubles. With the help of Enkidu, he taught humans how to hunt, fish, farm, and build houses and cities. Finally, he showed them the stars and told them the secrets of the heavens so that they could learn to read the signs. It is said that Enki was the god whose wisdom saved mankind. But it was also his gift of knowledge that first introduced humans to the mysteries of the cosmos and the wonders of the natural world. Number 4. Nergal. Of all the gods of the underworld in world mythology, few are as frightening as Nergal. Nergal is best known as the Lord of the Underworld in Babylonian mythology. From his home in the underworld, Nergal ruled over the dead with an iron fist, sending them on their final journey and punishing those who did not properly honor him. The Babylonian king, Hammurabi, believed that Nergal was his father. According to legend, when the gods assembled to divide the universe, Nergal drew the short straw and ended up ruling the land of no return. Being trapped in the underworld wasn't exactly a coveted position. So to make it a little better, Nergal was granted many titles and powers. Nergal was also the god of healing, magic, and genies. In fact, he was so powerful that people sometimes invoked his name to protect themselves against curses. This may have originated from the belief that since Nergal controlled the underworld, he could also control the spirits that haunted the living. It is perhaps this belief, more than any other, that led to Nergal being associated with disease. For centuries, people believed that illness was a curse, and so they prayed to Nergal to lift it. Nergal was also the god of war, which seems like an odd choice, considering that the only battle he ever fought was to claim his own kingdom. Perhaps the ancient Mesopotamians saw similarities between fighting in a battle and dying, hence the association. And now for number 3. But first, it's shout-out time. Big thank you to our supporters for making this video possible. Be sure to stay tuned for new episodes every week. Number 3, Inanna. Inanna is one of the most prominent figures in Mesopotamian mythology. She is known as the goddess of love, beauty, and war. But her personality was much more complex than these simple labels suggest. Inanna was the daughter of the sky god Anu, and the goddess Ninsun, and sister of Utu, the sun god. Her consort was Dumzi, the shepherd god, whom she married at the behest of her grandmother, the goddess Nia. Together they had 3 sons. Inanna was often depicted as a warrior goddess, riding into battle astride a chariot drawn by lions or riding on the back of a bull. She was a fearsome sight to behold. Her weapons of choice were the bow and arrow, and she was said to be an expert archer. But Inanna was also a patron of lovers and women. As the goddess of beauty, she was often called upon to bless those who sought her favor. She was also seen as a protector of children, especially girls. Inanna was a major deity in Mesopotamian religion, and her worship spread throughout the region. Temples were dedicated to her throughout Mesopotamia, and her image appeared on coins and other artifacts. Inanna's most famous story is her descent into the underworld. In this tale, she travels to the land of the dead and takes on the appearance of a queen in order to steal the secret of immortality. But she is captured by the goddess Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, and thrown into a pit. After 7 days, she is revived by her sister, Ereshkigal, and returns to the land of the living with the secret of immortality. Number 2. Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal was the queen of the underworld in Mesopotamian mythology. She was the daughter of the sky god Anu and the goddess Namu and sister to Inanna. Her name translates to Our Lady of the Great Green Place, referring to the underworld. Although the realm of the dead was not typically thought of as green, Ereshkigal's domain was actually much more than the underworld. Ereshkigal was also the goddess of night, darkness, and the moon. She was also considered the goddess of magic and witchcraft, and was said to be very powerful. Despite her many powers, Ereshkigal was not a benevolent goddess. She was actually quite cruel and was known for her quick temper. She was also very jealous and would not hesitate to punish those who crossed her. Despite her dark reputation, Ereshkigal was a popular goddess among the Mesopotamians. They believed that she had the power to control the destinies of mortals, and they often made sacrifices to her in order to gain her favor. One of the most famous myths about Ereshkigal tells the story of her descent into the underworld. In this myth, she travels to the land of the dead and takes on the appearance of a queen in order to steal the secret of immortality. But she is captured by the goddess Nergal, the lord of the underworld, and thrown into a pit. After 7 days, she is revived by her sister, Inanna, and returns to the land of the living with the secret of immortality. Number 1. Anu. Anu is one of the most important gods in Mesopotamian mythology. He is the father of the major gods, Enki, Enlil, Inanna, and Utu. Anu was considered to be the supreme god in the pantheon, and his name means heaven or sky. He was usually depicted as a bearded man wearing a crown, and he was often shown holding a scepter or a bow and arrow. Anu was a creator god, and he was responsible for creating the universe and everything in it. He was also a fertility god, and he was invoked to bring rain and good crops. In addition, he was considered to be the god of wisdom and justice. Although Anu was a supreme god, he was not very active in the affairs of mortals. He was often too busy tending to his duties in the heavens to concern himself with the problems of the people. However, he did have a son named Enki, who was responsible for creating humans. Humans were created to serve the gods, and they were given dominion over the earth. Unfortunately, humans were not very grateful for their creation, and they often forgot about the gods who had created them. This angered Anu, and he decided to destroy the human race. However, he changed his mind at the last minute and instead sent a great flood to cover the earth. Only one human couple was saved from the flood, and they were tasked with repopulating the earth. From then on, Anu was very wary of humans, and he rarely interfered in their affairs. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more.